Welcome to Iraqi Dinar Update, your go-to source for the latest news, expert insights, and real-time developments on Iraq's currency, economy, and financial reforms. Whether you're a long-time investor or just curious about the dinar, you're in the right place. The pilgrimage currently taking place in the Middle East, specifically inside Iraq, is a deeply significant religious and cultural event. For millions of Iraqis and Shiite Muslims from around the world, this pilgrimage, often associated with events like Arbarin or visits to the shrines of revered imams in cities such as Karbala and Najaf, represents an important spiritual journey. It is a time of mass mobilization, hospitality, and spiritual reflection. However, amid these gatherings and activities, some observers have misunderstood or misinterpreted economic events that are occurring concurrently inside the country, specifically regarding the sale and conversion of currency. This misunderstanding is particularly prevalent among those who are closely following Iraq's monetary policies, its exchange rate reform efforts, and the possible revaluation or international reinstatement of the Iraqi dinar. There's a vital distinction that must be made here, because while currency-related activities may be occurring domestically during this pilgrimage season, they are in no way indicative of a major international monetary shift. Many outside observers, especially those with investments in the Iraqi dinar, have confused these internal economic mechanisms with larger-scale foreign exchange, forex, developments. That is not the case. It's important to recognize that Iraq's monetary reform efforts are indeed underway, and there is evidence that the central bank is gradually preparing for greater integration into the global financial system. This includes modernization of the banking sector, implementation of anti-money laundering and counter-terrorist financing measures, adoption of international accounting standards, and the launch of digital payment systems. These steps are crucial for long-term reform and may ultimately pave the way for a more flexible exchange rate and possible revaluation. However, none of these developments are signaled simply by domestic currency exchanges during a national or religious event. They are part of a broader, more strategic plan that involves macroeconomic indicators, international financial cooperation, and legislative reform. Therefore, it's misleading and inaccurate to assume that what is happening now during the pilgrimage in terms of currency conversion reflects a larger international monetary event. It is not a backdoor revaluation, nor is it a stealth forex launch. Instead, it is a reflection of the natural ebb and flow of currency needs during a major domestic occasion. The sale of money or its conversion into other currencies for citizens' use is a normal part of how any central bank manages economic activity during peak travel or religious seasons. In Iraq's case, this is compounded by the fact that the country is still transitioning from a largely cash-based economy to one that is more digital and modern. The infrastructure is still being built, and a lot of transactions still rely on physical currency. That means banks must ensure there is enough cash in circulation, especially in cities like Karbala and Najaf, where millions gather at once. In this context, it is also important to understand that internal exchange does not drive international demand for the currency. Forex activity depends on more than just domestic exchange. There must be international confidence in the currency's value and usability. Iraq is still rebuilding that confidence. Though the country has made significant progress, including accumulating substantial foreign currency reserves, increasing gold reserves, and expanding regional trade partnerships, the dinar remains largely confined to domestic use. Until the currency is deemed fully convertible and Iraq establishes consistent, transparent monetary policy, the dinar will not float freely on forex markets. That moment, when and if it comes, will be accompanied by formal announcements, new monetary instruments, and likely cooperation with international financial institutions such as the IMF or World Bank. It will not occur quietly or only through subtle domestic actions. Furthermore, the public must be cautious not to conflate hopeful speculation with actual economic policy. Many investors in the Iraqi dinar have long anticipated a revaluation or reinstatement of the currency on the international stage. While such a change could occur in the future, driven by the underlying fundamentals of Iraq's resource wealth and economic reform, it will not happen unannounced or as a result of temporary domestic events. Those who are closely following Iraq's progress must look at official communications from the central bank, the Ministry of Finance, and international monitoring agencies, not rumors or anecdotal interpretations of currency activity during religious events. As Iraq modernizes its banking and financial systems, events like this pilgrimage will continue to provide testing grounds for logistical efficiency, cash availability, and digital payment platforms. For example, The increased demand for money during this period might encourage the use of prepaid debit cards, mobile banking apps, or government-issued smart cards for pilgrims. These are signs of internal modernization but not of external monetary change. They reflect domestic development, not international forex inclusion. Moreover, Iraq's decision to make its banking sector more inclusive and to provide services in a time of national need speaks to the state's increasing competence in managing financial flows, not a currency revaluation. The distinction must be made clearly. To summarize and drive the point home, the sale or exchange of money currently happening inside Iraq, particularly during the pilgrimage, is entirely separate from what those studying Iraq's broader financial reform are focused on. The internal exchange of money is about serving citizens, meeting demand, and supporting local economic activity. It is a functional part of monetary management by the central bank and commercial banks during a time of increased consumption. It is not a sign that the Iraqi dinar has begun trading on forex platforms. It is not connected to international markets. It is not a signal of revaluation. Those who are following Iraq's financial reform journey must keep their focus on long-term institutional developments, central bank strategy, legal reforms, and international partnerships. Those are the areas that will determine when and how Iraq re-enters the global currency market, not the temporary and practical sale of currency during a religious pilgrimage. It is essential to understand this nuance to avoid confusion and misinformation, and to maintain realistic expectations about the future of the Iraqi dinar. Thanks for tuning into Iraqi Dinar Update. If you found this content helpful, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a beat on Iraq's evolving financial landscape. Stay informed and stay ready.